Hello everyone. So this is a little different. I like to throw these in every now and then. This is scary TikTok videos to watch at night. I clicked on this and she said I have a scary video or something like that. So let's go ahead and start this now. I like doing these every now and then. And so that's why I do them.
I have a creepy story time. If this is the type of content that you're into, feel free to follow along. I post a scary story every single day. The person who submitted this wishes to remain anonymous, so for the sake of the story, let's call him Victor. Now, Victor is a medium, which means that he is able to help people who have recently lost a loved one in order to deliver a message, or if they're having any type of experiences in their home. Back in 2006, him, his wife, and daughter had recently moved to Texas. Around this time is when they came across a family that were having issues in their home. It started off very small, like pictures falling off the wall, dishes were being moved, and keys were going missing, but nothing too crazy, just mainly annoying. But as time went on, it started to get worse. Victor was called, so he decided to go over there and take a walk around. The minute Victor walked into this house, he felt it. Now, this family had 2 young children. One was about 4, the other one was 6. So Victor suggested that they lay baby powder on the ground to try to eliminate some of the noises and the things going missing, to see if it was maybe the kids messing around. The next day at about 9 a.m., Victor gets a call from the family. He ends up going to the house. When he walks in, they show him one of the rooms where they lay the baby powder, and very clearly in cursive, the name Casey has been written out. Now, Casey happened to be Victor's daughter's name, and there was no way that anyone in the house could have been the one to write it out, because there were no footsteps around the name, 1, and 2, no one in the house knew his daughter's name. So Victor asked the family, "You guys know anyone by the name of Casey?" The family all responds with, "No, we don't know anyone by that name." Victor then tells the family that he cannot help them and starts to quickly leave the house. The family, of course, asks, "Why can't you help us? And who's Casey?" Victor explains to them that Casey is his daughter's name. And the fact that his daughter's name was written in cursive on the ground to him is a warning. Victor believed that this was a D word that was trying to come after him because he was helping the family.
It was a demon.
So
That would be a little creepy. You go to help, and then your family member gets mentioned. You might think, yeah, you're on your own.
I talk about scary things on TikTok. Not all the time, sometimes. There have been many, like a couple of scary things that happened to me.
Okay.
Through TikTok. I did an iPhone giveaway recently. Remember that?
In MOE, I believe.
Yeah.
Mall of Emirates, yeah.
Yeah. So I went to the mall, met a lot of fans. There were like more than 50 people there. Took many selfies. And was talking to people individually, one by one, you know, like, yeah. Talk for a few minutes, then another person talk for a few minutes, take a picture here.
Yeah.
One guy was waiting from a distance, just looking at me. Okay. He wasn't smiling at all. That's what
He's just staring at you.
Yeah. He approached me and he was like, "Ibrahim, I wanna be a part of your horror stories." Like, in what way? He's like, "I wanna submit something to you." I was like, "Yeah, bro, tell me, what is it?" He just looked very off. He was not comfortable. He was sweating. He was uncomfortable when he was talking to me. He said, "I speak to jinns."
Okay.
I looked at him. I'm like, what?
Stay the fuck away from me, man.
The first thing, as soon as he said that, I felt like a cold hit my back, right? Something cold hit my back.
Yeah.
I felt very weak when he said that. I don't know if it was psychological or if it was paranormal. And I couldn't look at him in the eyes. And I was rehearsing Ayatul Kursi in my heart. You know, I was saying it. I was like, how about you speak to me on Instagram? So yeah, I speak to jinns and one of them is right here, and
What the fuck?
And I can tell you a lot of things. I want to be a part of your horror stories. Freaked me out, bro. Really did freak me out. He said, "I know a lot of things about you as well."
Oh shit.
I can see a qareen, is what he told me.
For those that don't know, Kareem.
A qareen is like a companion type of jinn that is always with you. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. They're the ones that whisper to tell you to do bad things.
Yeah, okay.
That's the qareen.
And he could see that next
Pretty
to
much
you.
the devil that sits on your shoulder, and for Christians,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same ideology. That's it. Yeah, that was one of the scariest things that happened to me.
Jeez, man, that's
Swear
fucked
to
up.
Hmm.
This is Tamla Horsford, a 40-year-old mother of 5 who was described as being the life of the party. On November 3rd, 2018, Tamla headed out to celebrate the birthday of her friend Jeanne Myers. Jeanne had invited a group of friends over to spend the night, not wanting anyone to drink and drive. Tamla arrived with a bottle of tequila and an overnight bag. The party was originally meant to be all women, but Jeanne's boyfriend Jose and the husband of another attendee ended up sticking around. In total, the party included 9 women, 2 men, and 1 husband who, according to police interviews, only dropped off and picked up his wife. Out of these 12, 8 were planning to spend the night, including Tamla. While the women drank and socialized, they watched the LSU-Alabama game upstairs while the 2 men watched football in the basement. During this time, Tamla, the only habitual smoker at the party, regularly stepped out to the balcony to have a cigarette. She also smoked marijuana that night, but Jeanne asked her to stop because Jose, a former court officer, didn't approve. Photographs and videos captured during the night showed Tamla smiling and happy. The guests who weren't spending the night began to leave around 11:30 p.m., while those who were staying began heading to bed over the next couple of hours. According to police interviews, Tamla remained awake after Jeanne and Jose went to bed at around 1:30 a.m. The last person to see Tamla was Bridget Fuller, who was picked up by her husband at 1:47 a.m. In her statement, Bridget said that Tamla was eating and planned to smoke a cigarette before heading to bed. Over the next 10 minutes, the home security system registered the back door opening, closing, and then opening again for the last time at 1:57 a.m. Around 8:45 the next morning, Jeanne's Aunt Madeline headed into the kitchen to make a cup of coffee when she spotted Tamla laying face down in the grass. Madeline says she said a prayer before heading upstairs to find Jeanne, telling her that something appeared to be wrong with her friend from the island. Tamla was born in the Caribbean but moved to the U.S. when she was 11. Forsyth County got the 911 call just before 9 a.m. On the line, both Jeanne and Jose speak, saying that Tamla isn't moving and is stiff. Jeanne then adds she was drinking and it looks like, I'm guessing maybe she fell off the balcony. Police took measurements of the balcony, which was over 14 feet above the ground, but the railing of the balcony added nearly 4 additional feet. It was determined that marijuana and alcohol use likely contributed to an accidental fall from the balcony at 17 feet and 11 inches, and they closed the case. But there were still so many unanswered questions. How did Tamla, who according to witness interviews wasn't very drunk that night, manage to fall over a nearly 4-foot-tall railing into the backyard? How could a house full of people, some only asleep for less than a half hour, not hear her fall right outside of their bedroom window? Could that almost 18-foot fall not only cause death, but a dislocated wrist, broken neck, and a laceration to the heart muscle? And what really happened when the back door opened just before 2 a.m., and why was it left open until the next morning?
Yeah, I've heard a podcast about that. And the boyfriend makes a phone call, a 911 call. And I think he was the one they showed the picture of. The I want to say former cop, but I don't remember now exactly. But he makes a phone call, and they're like, does she have a pulse? And he's like, I don't know. I haven't gone out there to look at her. Like he just called and was just so casual. Yeah, I don't know. She could be dead. She needs help. And they're like, oh, well, can you check on her? I'm busy. He didn't say that, but he made no attempt. He's like, trying to make a cup of coffee. It's just like, okay. And then you saw the picture. She has, she's married with 5 kids, and yeah, it was kind of a sad. I heard a podcast on it. It was kind of sad. There's a lot of stuff in that podcast.
This story is proof as to how you can't even trust your own family members. Now, Heather married her high school sweetheart. They ended up married for 15 years. In that time, they ended up having 2 beautiful children. Throughout their whole marriage, their relationship was one-sided. Everything that Heather's husband wanted is what went. She didn't really have much of a say. After Heather graduated college, her husband was fired, at which point he decided that he was going to go back to school and get a degree in criminology. After he went back to school, she found out that he actually had been cheating on her with multiple females from his school. After Heather found this out, she decided to divorce him. Now, her husband's mother has never liked Heather, and there were many rumors around town saying that she was a witch. The divorce and the custody battle ended up getting really messy, and Heather's husband somehow convinced the courts that she was psychotic and unable to care for the children. Once Heather found herself alone in the home, she started to hear things. She would see things crawling across the ceiling. She tried to convince herself that it was just a squirrel until her alarm system would just suddenly go off around 2 to 3 a.m. I had to talk to one of her friends about her experiences.
I mean, she's not winning me over in terms of her not having psychotic, delusional experiences. Especially if she's saying this to her husband. If they're in a haunted place and she's the one who's being attacked, that's one thing. But if she's saying, yeah, I swear something black crawled across the ceiling, it's probably a squirrel. Who in their right mind would be like, oh, you think you saw a squirrel crawling across our ceiling? And you were like, yeah, that's normal. What?
And her friend decided to get her in contact with a person that could find out if Heather had been hexed. The minute he entered her home, he went straight for her backyard and started to dig in a specific area. When he started to dig, he found a jar that her mother-in-law had put in there with spells. The spells were written in her mother-in-law's handwriting and sealed with her blood. She actually sent me photos of the jars and the spells and all that, which I won't be sharing on here for obvious reasons.
Why?
But once the spell jar was removed from her home, she stopped having experiences when she was hearing things, and she no longer saw things crawling on her ceiling.
No jar, no proof, no belief. Okay, that just looked like a person in like a dark suit with a face mask on, and then you're talking about a person crawling on that roof. They're probably not walking on it because they put too much weight in one spot that they're gonna fall right through. So they're spreading their weight out. That's my belief there. I would only believe that this skinwalker is pretending to be your dog if your dog was in the house next to you. You shine the camera down, show your dog, and then shine it back and show that. No proof, no belief.
We could be oceans, never drifting apart. We could be endless, flow through my heart. If you wanna ride my way.
What the hell was that thing? Sorry, I gotta see what this thing was.
Flow through my heart. If you wanna ride my waves. If you wanna ride my waves.
Okay, guard dog so good, makes you think she's 40. Yeah, okay. Good dog. Go into every window like, I'll box you out, baby. You ain't getting in here. Okay. Well, this one wasn't very good, but I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Okay, all right, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Not as great as I was hoping, but, it was what it was. So like and subscribe. And until next time, have a good day, have a good night.